Good morning, folks, and welcome back to my podcast. This is George Nathaniel for you. As I always do, today I've come back with a very simple topic, and of course, a very interesting topic as well. Well, over the years, the most favorite days of the week was always a weekend. And the best part about holidays is also weekends. So we don't really call it holidaying, but it was more of weekending. So folks, let us relate to the speciality of weekending. How do we exactly spend the week at its end? How do we plan over its course? How do we make the best of it? And what makes the weekending special? Because the weekending is not just any ordinary day. Weekending is a time of leisure. It's a time for yourself. It's a time out of routine. So it's a time that you can spend at ease. It's a time that you can spend with family. It's a time that you spend over your passion. So weekending, my folks, is a very, very interesting week. It's an interesting part of the week. So let us understand, what do we actually do on a weekend? What do we exactly prepare over a weekend? And do we make much of a weekend? Well, that's something we need to sit back and think about. For me, a weekending is something that I always look forward to. Because during the weekend, I always do things that are out of schedule. So it starts from my passion. It starts from something that I would like to spend time about thinking and preparing. And of course, it gives me time to sit back and relax and gauge over how things have gone and how I can further develop myself. So folks, as we sit back and think about the term weekending, let us relish it. Let us understand how much we actually make of this weekending. And do we exactly live up to it? So weekending, does it relate to us? Well, at this point of time, I know it's difficult, but at the end of the day, every day is special, every moment is special. And a weekending will always remain a weekending, just like a holiday being a holiday. A festive being a festive. These are all special days, these are all special moments. Folks, as we sit back and relax, as we sit back over our passion, as we sit back at ease, let us think, how much do we make of these weekends? How important are these weekends? Do we actually build up the days to the weekend? It's very interesting. While I was making this podcast, I actually sat back and thought that how much do I exactly do on the weekend? Then I actually realized technically just nothing. Because I have a couple of things that are built on, a couple of things that I work towards, and that's all. And the weekends just fly off. So as we gather ourselves, as we think about the terminology weekend, let us understand, how much do we make of this weekend? Let us start to gather ourselves. Let us start to gather our lives. Let us start to understand how much more can we make of this weekend. Life is important. Life is special. Life is something that you never get back. So as we prepare ourselves, as we prepare our lives, as we prepare the course of our lives, let us make the best of every day, and of course enjoy the most over the weekends. Because celebration is very important. Celebrating life is very important. Celebrating moments is very important. Celebrating our achievements are very important. And of course, equally important is preparing towards everything. So how do we actually utilize the weekend? And does weekend actually relate to us? So the term weekending is a very interesting term that we need to relate to and understand that are we living our lives? Are we living moments? So folks, as I always do, I always come back with this very, very simple topics. Something that keeps us engaged. Something that relates to our lives. Something that we keep hearing all through our lives. Something that we can learn from. Something that we can stay positive about. So folks, as we relate to the topic today, week ending, let us sit back and gather and look forward to all the future weekendings that we have. How we can build up these weekends, how we can make them special, how we can spend the best times over these weekends. Let us sit back, spare time for ourselves and understand that weekends is not just an ordinary day. A weekend is a special day. And how much are we actually making of this day? So as each one of us sits back and understands and relates to our lives, and as each one of us sits back to plan the course of our lives, let us understand that it's very important to have time for ourselves. It is very, very important to live our lives. It is very, very important to enjoy every moment. And most importantly, it is very, very important to prepare. Today being a weekend, I am up early. I am preparing not just over the day, but I am preparing over the week to come, over the months to come, over the time to come, over the course to follow. I am preparing over my future goals. I am preparing over my future habits. I am preparing over my life scope. I am preparing over my livelihood. I am preparing to life. I am preparing for life. I am preparing to make life even better, even more beautiful. I am preparing to build my own environment so that every time I engage with something, I add some value. So folks, as we spend time for ourselves, by ourselves over the weekend, let us make the best of it. Let us understand that a weekend is special and every weekend is special. So let's make the best of it. Let us value things and let us value the weekend. Let us value our lives. So folks, I leave you with the topic for today, weekending. And I hope each one of us spends the least amount of time thinking about what we actually do over the weekending. And do we actually make the best of it? And does weekending actually relate to our lives? I know it's difficult, but life is not always difficult. Life is a challenge. And if life wasn't challenging, we wouldn't be living. We are all lucky. We are all special. So folks, as we sit back and enjoy the weekend, enjoy these moments, let us prepare for better weekending. Let us prepare for better times ahead. So I leave you with this topic of weekending. Happy moments ahead, folks. This is George Nathaniel signing off. Thank you for listening to my podcast. I look forward to more of you subscribing and listening to me across different platforms. And I hope you enjoy listening to me. Thank you once again. This is George Nathaniel signing off. Good day, folks.